say, silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn, because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today.
This is One Street Over. The guy singing us in Ridgetop Ramblers. Oh my goodness, Barry Richards is in the house.
Hey, good morning.
We love our Ridgetop Ramblers. I just love them so
absolutely.
much. It's so funny because I talk a lot about, I had to get Barry in here. Now, of course, they are the Exit Prime Realty, of course, but, and we love y'all so much for being our longest full-time sponsor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And, but I met you guys at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival.
All those years ago.
How many has it been?
I was meeting with Larry Chun of Larry and Cheryl Chun and a Step Ahead yesterday, and he said, how many years has it been? I said, Larry, we need to sit down and write this down.
Yeah.
Or pull out all the old posters or all the old T-shirts and count, because we sort of lost count. Of course, a lot of people did with COVID, messing up your count.
Yep.
So we just need to just sit down and agree on it.
We need a new official.
Maybe we'll do that this year in between sets.
Maybe Faye can tell us. She's got all the posters and stuff. But that was the thing, because we had the year that when COVID happened, we didn't have it, but we had it.
No,
or did we? Did we have it?
We did not have it one year, and then the next year we had it in August.
Later in the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did officially miss a year.
So I believe we did.
I couldn't remember. I guess we had to. Because I was thinking, okay, did we push it off to August that year? Or
I don't think so. I think we just had to skip it one year, and then the next year we pushed it to August because it was still a
thing. Yeah.
Still a thing.
I had 2 weddings during all that time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was crazy. It was they were not in 2020. They were in 2021, I think. Isn't that weird?
And that would kind of make sense
Yeah.
with what we're talking about, is that people were still cautious, in 2021.
Yeah, but 2020, you still were just like, what's going on? I was talking to Thomas Perko the other day. He was the graduating class that missed their graduation. He was a 2020 graduate.
Yeah.
And so, because we were talking about, because I've got seniors in my homeroom, and I'm going to miss them so much.
Yeah,
They're
and
like,
you're telling
stop
them
it, Miss
how
Vivio.
lucky they are to have everything,
normal.
Whatever the new normal is.
Yeah.
That's just it. It was sort of a reset. It's like, let's create traditions. They don't have to be the way they used to be.
Well, and they kind of have fallen back into that, it seems like. But
well, and you say that the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival originally, the first many were in April, which was fine for the most part, but it would tend to get really cold as the sun went down, and we did have to deal with a little more rain. The first few, we moved into the high school. Now we have a big tent, so even if it does rain, we can get in there under the shade. But moving to May in the last several years has been really nice.
It's been really nice. Yeah,
the weather's nicer, and it makes it's a little bit challenging because we are competing with some high school graduations, but overall it's not bad at all.
And my granddaughter's birthday.
And your granddaughter, yes, we moved it to your granddaughter's birthday.
Yeah, it was actually on my granddaughter's birthday last year. But this year, as it moves forward, now her birthday is actually on Sunday or Monday. Did we have a leap year last year? I forget. But we're not on the day. And I've told my daughter-in-law, remember, 16th and 17th, no parties. Her birthday's on the 18th, so it's on Sunday. So it's on the next day. So I'm like, please don't do that.
Just have your party on Sunday afternoon. Just plan it for every year, regardless of when the birthday is.
Yes. Exactly. And but anyway, it's all good. It's beautiful. And if you've not been to the festival, this is something that, don't you just kind of see it on the edge of just becoming a really big thing? Because I see the fiddle competition, the Dan Kelly fiddle competition, and it's not just fiddling. It is anything with strings, really, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, anything with strings.
Well, it doesn't even have to be strings, I guess, technically. If somebody wanted to play a harmonica, for instance, that's something Larry Chun mentioned. Yeah. It's any beginner musician. I guess we should say bluegrass. Don't bring your saxophone out.
Yeah, or your keyboard or anything. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah, any beginner musician, and that's going to be on Friday evening, May 16th, starting at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And for the beginner musicians, it's ages 14 and under.
Right.
All in one category. previously we've done fiddle as a separate category. We've broken it up different ways, but it's all one category, 14 and under, beginner musician. Then we're going to do clogging, again,
I love that.
14 and under. But this year we're also going to have a 15 and over clogging category. So,
Cool.
so grown-ups who want to clog can come on out, and we'll have that. All of that starts at 5 o'clock on Friday. And then as soon as we wrap up, we don't really know when we're going to wrap up, just depends on how many people show up. But as we wrap up the competition, we're going to move inside the big barn and have a real square dance with some real square dancers and a great square dance band with Larry and Cheryl Chun. We expect to see folks like Michael Fagan and others that are always there. It's a pretty spectacular band that plays continuously for the square dance. And we like to tell people, come on out, even if you just want to come out and bring a lawn chair and watch. That's a lot of fun. But bring your dancing shoes, because Cheryl is going to bring folks out on the floor. Lee Marie has helped with that in the past, and just encourage people to get out and dance. And they'll give some sort of square dance lessons and get everybody involved. And then everybody gets a break when they bring in some ringers and do a square dance too. So it's a lot of fun just to hang out and watch and enjoy the music and enjoy the nice evening. There'll likely be some vendors there on Friday night with some food. So come on out and follow us on Facebook or on social media, and we'll have updates on that, on who's set up to sell food and what's going on Friday. And then Saturday, it's more of a traditional bluegrass festival. We're going to start at 11 o'clock Saturday morning with a full lineup of bands. We've got a bunch of vendors going to be there, a lot of great food that we expect to have, and it ought to be a lot of fun. The lineup this year, we've got some new bands that have never played there before, including South Union and Strings and Beans. We're welcoming some familiar musicians, including, I mentioned Michael Fagan.
Michael being there.
Yeah, his new band is the Tennessee Bluegrass Band, and they're getting a lot of attention, and we're excited to have them. The folks with Kings Highway out of Owensboro are returning this year. We really appreciate them. And, of course, Ridgetop Ramblers. It wouldn't be a festival without the Ridgetop Ramblers being there. And as I mentioned before, Larry and Cheryl Chun, their band, A Step Ahead, are going to play as well.
They're staples in it, because they're part of the part of the team that brings it. And two, you couldn't ask, like I said, Ridgetop Ramblers. I've been impressed with them from the first moment that I heard them.
I tell people they're the best bluegrass band that doesn't have a record. I mean,
and honestly, I don't know why.
You really can only hear them. Yeah, if you.
It's not. I mean, I guess you can download that, but to me, that's a great song. I mean, that's why we use it. But they've got some, and I love their takes on the covers that they do.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagles and stuff like that. It's fabulous. And so, yeah, they need to have a record.
And, you think about it, too. They've had the same lineup now. I think Jeremy was with them when our festival started. I remember seeing
the same
them
guys
before,
always.
Well, I remember seeing them before Jeremy joined, and but they've had pretty much the same lineup since the early days of the festival. We'll say.
Yeah, I really thought he was there in the beginning, because I don't remember anybody.
You say that he may have been. There was a different bass player at some point.
Okay.
Of course, had a dobro at one point. But it's been it's been a pretty standard lineup, and but we're looking forward to the Ridgetop Ramblers and all these other bands coming out. And again, that starts at 11 o'clock on Saturday, May 17th. Again, come hungry, because we're going to have some great food vendors there this year, and it'll continue on to the afternoon, and we're very excited about it. We're getting the posters designed by Mike Armstead put together right now. I will make one plug. We do have room to add sponsors, but if you don't sign up immediately, you won't be on the poster. Okay. That's the only thing.
And the posters are cool. I mean, they're frameable. Cool. And
they are. Yeah. And several of them are framed at Cross Plains City Hall.
Right.
Because they're very cool.
I had originally intended to get them and put them up in my audio video room and all that, and somebody said that's East Robertson. It was a rival issue. They're like, but that's I said, it's not East Robertson, but it's like behind their school.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's very close.
I got some harassment over that.
Yeah.
Because I was going to put some up, and they're like, that's East Robertson. And I was like, fine. And we put up movie posters instead.
That raises a good point. How do you get to the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival? Just go to East Robertson High School, and the entrance to Kilgore Park is right there beside it, and head on back. See, I'm trying to think what changes have been made. Of course, we've had the restrooms added. If you haven't been there in a few years, we have real restrooms.
No more toilets.
In the park at the bottom of the hill. We do have one of those tiny libraries now in the park. The little free library.
Oh, really?
Park, so you can stop by and find a book or donate a book.
Oh, how fun!
That's probably the most significant change. Well, actually, I say that one thing that we've done, and I don't think it was this way at last year's festival, but the city of Cross Plains has paved the walking trail, so you can walk the trail without worrying about sliding on gravel on the steep parts.
Awesome.
The walking trail is paved in Kilgore Park, so the city of Cross Plains continues to take really good care of that park, and we love to have folks visit from all around the region.
That's cool.
Especially during the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, May 16th and 17th.
Can I add a couple of books to the thing?
Yeah.
I've got two of my books that I actually found. I've got a book about Don't Forget the Daffodils. I didn't realize I still had any copies of it because it's out of print. I'll put one of those in there.
Yeah.
And because I'm going to redo it, but I'll put one of those in there. Yeah. And then I'll put one of my Jesse books in there too because I've got a couple of books. So I'll put a couple of my books in there.
Bring a couple of your books and maybe you'll see a book you haven't read before or that you want to read again.
I love to read.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of kids' books and grown-up books
I could put some kids' books in. I've got some I could donate too. But that I love those little libraries.
Oh,
I think those are just the cutest things.
I've got to say, ours may be one of the coolest you'll ever see. Sam Hastings built it.
Okay.
With wood, sourced locally, and
I love that.
And it's modeled after the barn that folks see when they go by on 25.
I love that park. I mean, it is just the neatest little park. It is so cool, and the way it's laid out, it just reminds me of the Ryman.
It's a natural amphitheater.
Yeah.
It really is.
It really does.
Acoustically and everything. It does really well.
Yeah.
And, of course, the sound is always top-notch thanks to folks at JBM Sound. We're the only festival they do anymore.
I know.
They just keep that equipment dusted off for us, and we appreciate that.
It was so funny after what's the gentleman's name that ran it? I'm blank. The older gentleman.
Oh, I can't recall either.
I can't. But anyway, he passed, and so I figured that once he passed away, that it'd be it. And then when they were there, I was like, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh yeah,
because they are incredible.
We appreciate them so much.
Incredible,
and
we've all been to shows where the sound's just not right.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference when you have good sound, not only for the fans but for the bands as well. Because it allows them to relax and not worry about things that are outside of their control. Because you get up there and you're trying to play and sing, and if you can't hear yourself, or if it doesn't look like the audience is enjoying the sound, it just puts a damper on the whole thing. So just one less worry that all of our artists have is the sound is great and the venue is fantastic. It
is. You just can't beat it. If you miss it, you just are really missing something, guys. And so we're going to be talking a lot about it. I wanted to get Barry in here. I told him, I said, we always like to bring him in to talk about the Exit Prime Realty, of course, but this is it's bluegrass. And if I'm doing your ad, I always tag in the festival right now because we're at that point. But because we're a month out. So now's the time to save the date. We've been saying save the date for the last couple of months, but right now, put it on your calendar. And even if you can't get there, I know there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't have to come for the entire thing. You can come in and go in on Friday, and that ticket's good for both days.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's not a problem. But also, too, I want to double back and just really clarify who Larry and Cheryl are. The reason why they're not there on Saturday nights because they're on the Opry.
We have to book them early on Saturday because, as Larry says, they get paid to dance on the radio. I love that. They are part of the Opry Square Dancers.
Yeah. And
so they take off on Saturday afternoon to head down to the Opry, but we'll have them there earlier in an earlier slot on Saturday. But they're they've the last few years have put together the Friday night, not only the square dance, but the competition because they're involved in instruction for these, especially clogging. We'll also mention, as far as the competition goes, if you've got kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews that are involved in music instruction, maybe in other towns, give those schools a call and let them know, hey, there's an opportunity for these kids to come up on Friday evening and compete and win some cash prizes and see some other great, kids that are doing exactly what they're doing, all different skill levels.
Right.
We've got some really outstanding musicians, and we've got some beginners, and they're all, really good, and we'd love to see and hear all of them, and see as many different faces as possible. So, and as you mentioned, it's only $10 to get in on Friday, and that ticket gets you back in on Saturday. So $10 for both days, which we feel like is great value, and we'd love to have as many people as possible.
And don't let the idea of, you're like, oh, it's on a hill. They have golf carts running. So even if you have to park, all the way back at the school, they're gonna drive you down.
Yeah,
so
with
you
the paved trail now, it's a lot easier to walk down. We will have shuttles running continuously.
Yeah.
We have restrooms down there at the bottom now, so it's a lot more hospitable for folks. We do have some bleachers that'll be under the tent, but we'll encourage you to bring your lawn chair. You'll have a lot more flexibility if you'll bring your lawn chair. And just come ready to have a good time. We really look forward to it and have a great lineup this year. So the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, May 16th and 17th in historic Cross Plains, Tennessee, the oldest settlement in Robertson County.
And that's a cool story too. And a lot of times we'll talk a little bit about that and kind of fill in the gaps in between the bands and those kinds of things. And we'll have the VFW will be there. The guys will, they're always there. The best hot dog in town. That's their moniker. It's like gotta have those hot dogs. But they're always just so much fun to talk to, and I've enjoyed getting to know those guys so much, and they're always there and just always interesting to just sit and visit with. But they'll be there. Are you going to bring back the kettle corn guy? Is he going to be there?
I believe the kettle corn guy is going to be there.
Oh, I'm all about that.
And I
love that stuff.
We've been told that folks who were fans of True's Barbecue over the years that was in business for 35 years in Cross Plains, and Juanita,
y'all sold that. Y'all helped.
We helped them sell that.
Facilitate that sale. Yeah.
Juanita retired a few years ago, but one of her sons has taken up the torch, and they've bought a food truck in another city, and have renamed it Wick's Barbecue, which is Juanita's last name, and they're going to be bringing that food truck to the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival.
Nice.
So we will have a taste of something familiar, but always good barbecue. We've appreciated David Key being there the last several years, but he's unable to be there this year. So it worked out great that Wick's Barbecue is going to be able to come, and we'll have a lot of other familiar vendors there.
That's cool because it's an echo of True's. And so people
absolutely.
who have been missing that, here's your chance to come out and have a little taste of that.
I imagine Juanita will be there making sure that the name is being upheld. So
it is up to par.
Up to par.
I love that. I love that. So come on out, and it's going to be an excellent time. It's always fun. Just praying on the weather. That's one thing about moving it to May. Has helped us so much weather-wise.
Yeah, it has been really good, and the big tent from Set 'em Up Tents, that makes a big difference too. Anybody that wants to help us set that up, please, please contact me because we'll be doing that week. But that tent's great. You can get in under the shade. Mm-hmm. We do, of course, have a little bit more shade from the trees in May versus April, which is nice. And a lot of my friends and neighbors like to sit up there high on the hill in between the trees and take advantage of that. But it's everything you could ask for in a great venue. Great sound, great musicians, and a lot of fun. So we hope everybody will plan on coming. Call your friends and neighbors and say, hey, this is where I'm going on May 16th and 17th. Come with me Friday night and all day Saturday, and we'll have a big old time.
I'm going to try my best to bring I really want my granddaughter there on Friday night because I just could see her just really enjoying the dance. I just want to get my grandkids there. I don't know that we can because they've got sports and all this kind of stuff all the time. But I'm going to do my best to get my grandkids out there on Friday.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You see kids that come out that have never thought about being a musician, but then they see kids their own age or even younger, because we've had 6-year-olds in the competition playing the banjo before.
Yeah.
So to see them can be inspiring to some kids.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many of the musicians that appear at our festival have been on the Opry, like Michael Fagan, who used to play with Bill Monroe, with Larry and Cheryl who, on the Opry. But then we've had situations where those musicians appear on our show. They meet other musicians. They put together bands. They end up on the Opry. So it's a great, it's a great connection to the music DNA of Nashville, especially with regards to bluegrass. It's nice we're just close enough to Nashville that we're a part of that, but we're a little farther out, so it's a little more laid back than some of the things that you go to in Nashville.
The kids that do I can't think of the band's name that they covered "Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys."
Oh yeah, they came in.
They've done that at the festival, haven't they?
Well, I heard them do that on your show, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if they did it Cutter and Cash.
Yeah, I feel like we've had. I know we've had those.
I don't
kids
remember
out
if
there.
they did it on the show or not.
But we've had them there.
Yeah.
And because I can remember them being there in the barn one time when we had some, that's one of the cool things too, is if we do, really get
if
some
the weather got
rain,
really bad, we can
move the bands into where we're dancing on Friday night.
Well, and that's how Cutter and Cash met Noah and Lily was at the festival.
Well, they've been on the Opry, those kids.
Yeah, that whole band.
And that's just, to me, one of the coolest little stories because they're all teenagers. And I had them in here and I said, so did y'all all fit in the circle? Yes, we did.
Yeah, that's
and if you've not been to the Grand Ole Opry, the original, whenever they were, downtown from the Ryman, when they moved it to the Opryland Complex area, they cut a circle out of the stage. And that circle is, because they had the circle where you would stand, when you would go. So they took that circle out of the original Ryman and took it to the Grand Ole Opry stage. And you can see this very clear, different circle in the stage. And I've made note of it because I hosted like a Barney, some kind of a thing back when my kids were little bitty. At the
Opry House.
At the Opry House, and I've got a picture of my middle kid Jedediah crawling on the circle. He's crawling around on the circle.
Yeah.
And so that's always been kind of an iconic thing for me. I was like, boy, to get to stand in that circle and sing on the Grand Ole Opry, that's so cool. And so I told the kids, I said, were you in the circle? And every one of us got in there. And I could just imagine, there was like 5 of them to be tight right there in the circle. But you got to be in the circle. But those are the kinds of stories, guys. Having Larry and Cheryl involved is just so cool. And they're so incredibly talented. I just love sitting and watching them. And they're all the acts that come in. There's something about bluegrass. There's just a camaraderie and there's just an affection in there. It's kind of it's a callback to the old vaudeville days where there's jokes and there's fun and they'll dance and they'll sing and they're just well ran. They're so talented all the way around.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it so cool.
Absolutely.
You
Everybody has a
what
good
missing.
time.
Yeah.
Come on out and enjoy the music. Enjoy just getting together. You know, I'm sure there's folks that don't particularly care anything about the music, but they know that there's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people they haven't seen. It's kind of a reunion of sorts in the area for folks, not just from Robertson County, but from all around the region that come together since we've been doing it. How many years it's been. It's been over 10 years.
Yeah, it's
annual. That's what we say. It's annual.
It's 12. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Fail, tell us.
Out.
Fail, straighten us out. You were talking about people who might not like the music. The Brown girls. She's my sister. Their grandmother says, "Let's go hear the happy music." They call it the happy music. So whether you're a bluegrass fan or not, it's just happy music, and I love that description of it because you can't help. Now, some of the ballads and stuff, you go, that was an interesting,
that's depressing. Yes, absolutely.
But it's not. They put a twang. They put a twist on it. It's a sad story, but it's I don't know. You know what I mean.
And bring the whole family out
just
because kids 12 and under are admitted free at the gate.
That was my next
it's
question.
$10 for both days for grown-ups, but 12 and under admitted free. And that again, that ticket's good for both days.
Yeah, so my grandkids are all 8 and under.
There you go.
So they could all come for free.
And it
just
is
pay for
fun.
grown-ups.
There's plenty of open space. Kids are always running around, having a good time. Bring your wading shoes if you're going to allow them to get in the creek, because
it's very convenient.
If you've never been there, just the walking trail, as I mentioned, has been paved. It goes around behind the barn and on up the hill, but down across the walking trail down the hill is a Honey Run Creek. You can go down there and wade around, skip rocks, and you can still hear the music. That's kind of the cool thing. You can hear the music going on, but you're in the creek. You're out in nature, thanks to Kilgore Park. So
for you newbies, come get the Robertson County experience. That is a Robertson County experience right
all
there.
in one space. We got live music, we've got nature, we've got
food.
And food.
And it's just, you're just going to love it. May 16th and 17th, $10 get you both days. Again, the fiddle competition, Dan Kelly fiddle competition on Friday night, followed by the square dance and just all the fun things of Friday night. Then all day festival music. You're not going to regret it. Just come hungry, come with a great, even if you're, I'll say come with a good attitude. No, if you've got a bad attitude, you'll leave with a good one.
There you go.
It'll make you feel better.
And you can find us on social media or KilgoreStation.com. You can buy tickets in advance. You don't have to, but you can buy them in advance if you want to buy them and send them to somebody.
Right.
Or just get them at the door. Same price, $10 both days.
Oh, and also too, tennis, Mary Beth Lynn Clark is saying Tennessee Rhythm Robertson County Square Dance Team will be there Friday night.
Excellent.
So go also. Oh, and Paul Rainey wants to say, man, y'all got nice ballparks out there too.
Yeah, we do.
Got to chime that in.
They had the Brothers Keepers tournament last weekend, and the Cross Plains Community Chamber was there.
Nice.
So, we sold some T-shirts and gave some old Christmas shirts away.
That's great.
And they're nice. They're nice facilities.
Outstanding. Now, before you leave, we've got to do our exit prime really
I'll help you out with that.
So what is going on? Anything new in your world? Or is it just, when's the best time to buy, Barry? When's the best time to buy real estate?
It's when you need to buy real estate.
There you go. Anytime.
A lot of people are like, well, I'm waiting for the rates to come down. Well, you can. I'm not going to discourage it because for some people, that difference in the rate may mean the difference in working with your current budget. Now, I understand that. Just realize that when rates come down, prices are going to be pushed up and your competition is going to appear.
Right.
So it's great if you can be in a position where you don't have to rush and you can take your time and you can study a little bit. You don't want to take too much time or you might get beat out by somebody, but if nothing else, talk to us. Just let's sit down, have a cup of coffee, talk about what your goals are, and we can tell you some of the ins and outs are going to make a difference for you when you're buying a house or if you're planning on selling. A lot of people, have life changes. They have a new job. They have a new baby. They need to move for retirement, move to be close to grandchildren. There's some sort of external pressure on when they have to make a decision, and that's fine. We're here to help you in those cases. But if you are in a position where you're thinking, I want to make a move, but I need to think it through. I need to know what my options are. We're here to help you with that as well. So don't hesitate to call us and talk and let us give you some insight on what the market is. And we may be able to help you as well if you're moving out of town, we may be able to refer you to an agent. We do that actually quite often, refer folks to agents in other cities.
Well, it's like whenever I have a friend from Ukraine that it was a realtor in Ukraine,
and you were able to put her.
You were able to put her in touch with a
Ukrainian agent. Another agent from Ukraine.
To help her, and just all those things, guys. And I tell everybody, I say you can come to the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, sit down at the table, and talk with you guys.
Absolutely,
but you can do that anytime.
Yeah, you can.
All you got to do is just reach out and call them, and they'll set up an appointment. They'll come have coffee with you. You don't have to wait and come to the tent at the festival. But
you can come to the tent.
Yes, you absolutely can. No, but I'm just saying you don't.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for that.
You don't have to wait for that.
Absolutely.
Because they'll be willing to do that anytime. Rebecca has her agency office up in White House. Of course, Barry has his brokerage office here. And Rebecca's number is 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Yours is just 7424, right?
Yep.
Okay? Just very close. Or you can go to sellwithbecky.com, buy, BUY, RobertsCounty.com. They're both Kentuckians like me originally, but they've been here 30 years.
30
like
years
me.
this Labor Day.
30 years. I knew it was coming up. How long have you been full-time real estate? Because I've been trying to remember. It's been 5 years, isn't it?
No, it's more than that.
Is it really? Man, time flies. Dog.
It was 2017.
2017. Wow. And he was a marketer for 17 plus years, or right at 17 years up in Nashville, vice president of media marketing company. So you bring that to the table when you're trying to sell property and make sure it's being presented in the right light. Man, it's priceless.
Absolutely.
So, love talking about you guys because
Thank
you're my
you.
dear friends.
We
Thank y'all for all you do so much.
Thank you for what you do. We'll look forward to having you at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival.
I'm excited. And we'll have you come back in and talk about the festival week of. We'll get maybe David or something.
Yeah, and maybe, when we get David,
we'll talk more about it.
Maybe Ed can come in and bring banjo, guitar.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. But yeah, another one that's got a Grand Ole Opry background people don't know about.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
he loves talking about the Hee Haw Honeys.
Oh, yeah. I forget about that. Yeah, absolutely. They've got some good stories.
Fun stories. Thank you. Barry Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, 16th and 17th of May. Save the date. Thank you, brother. And as you make your way out, I got Tom Fox coming in. We got a new sponsor, and he's going to come on in. Come on in, Tom. And we'll talk to him here. I told Tom, I said, I always like to have my new sponsors come in and just sit down and talk with me and just talk about, their business and the different things going on. And so we're really excited now. And Tom is not new to the radio. He has been in here with Lee Marie. She's been bringing him on for a while. And so this is nothing new. So I'm just going, you just come on in and make yourself at home. I had told him, I said, I keep thinking, I'm like, well, when I called you yesterday and I said, well, we need to get you on the radio. I forget that you've been doing this a while. You've been friends with Lee Marie and coming in to see her for a while now.
I came in and we do radio ads with her.
Okay.
So,
and
I recorded in the closet.
Oh, you do?
Well,
okay.
I did. Yeah.
Do voiceovers and stuff. Well, there you go. There you go. So you're a radio person. You qualify as being a radio person if you've actually, done some radio ads.
I've done TV. I've got a colored past. Yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
Community access down there on. Oh my goodness, that was 35 years ago.
Really?
Down there in Metro Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd go down there and we did a little
Seriously?
TV show for about 2 years. Yeah.
What was it about?
It was a Bible. It was
That's awesome. Ministry driven stuff. That's awesome. That's where my heart is right now.
Learned about Amiga software, whatever that. Yeah. I didn't know anything about it. That was almost before Macs were coming in. That was a long
crazy.
time ago.
Isn't that something? We had, and I'm talking with Tom Fox. He is the owner of the UPS store here in town, and new sponsor to One Street Over. We appreciate it so much, but not a new sponsor to WSGI. He's been sponsoring with Lee Marie for a while. I tell everybody I got real lazy about getting sponsors this past summer. Well, I had my joint replacement stuff going on, and I'm doing great. And so I'm like, we got to bring and let people know about what's going on here in the community. And it was so weird. I ran into you at Aldi.
At Aldi's, yeah.
And you started talking to me. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh, you're the UPS store guy. And I have just always been impressed with your people. And I've compared them to Chick-fil-A people. The most polite. I mean, you don't go into too many places that deal with the public and have such polite interactions. I've never walked in there, even when they're packed and they got people. I mean, even during the Christmas holiday when there's so many people in there, and I've never seen anything but just polite and patient, just incredible employees.
The Lord's really blessed us with the people that we have, and you're not the first one to tell me that. Anywhere I go, especially if I'm in this blue uniform.
And I love the blue.
Which I'm promoting.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can see it well. And it's one
Normally
of those.
I'm in my overalls.
Okay.
That's how I was at the Aldi. But,
yeah.
But they'll stop me and they'll tell me about the employees, and especially our young employees. We got some teenagers in there.
Yes.
Young college kids and high school kids, and they are. And that's just who they are. Yeah. It's not like we just want to exceed customer expectations.
Well, and we love Deborah. Deborah Grant's in there, and she comes in and she'll fill in, and she's been there really since she was there before. You inherited her, didn't you?
I inherited her and Will.
Yeah, yeah, and they're just awesome. They're just absolutely awesome. And so again, we're talking with Tom Fox. How long have y'all owned UPS? When did y'all take it over?
We bought that December 28th, 2022.
Okay.
I tried to get it January 2nd for tight, but they's like, nope, it's got to close this day.
Oh my goodness! But there you go. But what made you want to pick up the store? Why? What's your background? You said you were in overalls. What's that about? What's that? What?
Well, I've been in overalls. No, I've been in overalls since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, back in the CB days. You remember CBs?
Oh my
CB
goodness.
radios.
Yes, I did. It's so funny because the kiddos, you know, you were talking. Well, I have to. My brain takes me all these different trails. You were talking about the software, early TV, and all that, and I've been cleaning out my stuff at the audio video. We have just a room that was for storage. We found some old software for a computer from the 1900s, right? And the kids were looking at that, and I've talked to them about CB radios as well. And I want to find one. I've got like a kind of an antiques area where I've put old things in there. But yeah, my first exposure to broadcasting was CB.
Back in my high school days, I was the Tennessee farm boy. I was living in Arkansas.
Nice.
Tennessee farm boy.
I went by Sunshine.
Yeah, the KRD 9807, Bucket Mouth and Ratchet Jaw, and Tennessee farm boy.
Did you ever do anything with like the what am I looking? The word that it's like what is it, Bill? Bill Jones. They do the. It's like the. It's not, I want to say something circuit, but it's like a
ham radio.
Yeah, ham radio. I couldn't get it out. I couldn't, because I've never messed with it at all. But
I've not.
Did you do ham radio at all? No. Okay, because a lot of people that get into CB, doing the CB radio and stuff, they
move over into that.
Yeah, right. Kind of. And I remember one of my neighbors met a girl and got a date. I mean, he dated a girl that he met on the CB. Isn't that funny? Yeah. But what we're talking about
now they do it online.
Yes, of course.
It's just new technology.
Well, and if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, this is how the truck drivers communicate. And do they still?
I don't know. I guess
I don't know.
Maybe just use cell phones. I don't know.
I would think now that would be cell phones, but CB radios, you would have truck drivers would be, you know, what's your handle, 10-4, good buddy, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that was from the 70s. Really was when that was big, and there was even the song, the trucker song, and my husband. This is you'll get a kick out of this talking about overalls. He's from up north, and he was there was a competition that if you won like a local competition, then you got to go to this county-wide competition in another city, and he just wanted to go. He was trying to find something to compete in. So he did figure skating to that CB song about that trucker song in his Carhartt overalls and won. I think he was the only one that competed locally, but that he did it was a CB song, and he'll maybe he'll put the name of the song on here. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, he was in his Carhartt overalls out figure skating to that song about, you know, it's we got a convoy. Oh, wasn't that the name of the song or something?
There was one.
There was something like that. Yeah, we're really
eastbound and down, loaded up.
Yes, and we're dating ourselves
Jerry
now.
Reeves and
Yeah, exactly.
Cannonball Run or something like that.
So, but what is your background? So, are you a businessman or an entrepreneur? What's your background before the UPS store?
Well, I most recently before the UPS store worked at South Haven Baptist Church.
Okay.
Assistant pastor there for about 18 years.
I did not realize that. Okay.
And was the assistant pastor over the business operations.
Okay.
Prior to that, I'd spent 7 years with a distribution company in Goodlettsville.
Okay.
That was a greeting card company out of San Francisco, and I ran that distribution center. Prior to that, I spent 10 years with the Baptist Sunday School Board in their periodical section, mailing out magazines, quarterlies, Sunday school quarterlies. Prior to that, I worked with Church's Fried Chicken as an area manager.
Okay.
Over 12 stores, and ended up in Kansas. We moved to 5 cities in 1 year.
Working for churches?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That was in my young days. I was in my late 20s then, and was able to move around.
But that's where you get your background then for running a business like this.
Prior to that, and right before that, I spent 3 years as assistant manager with Walgreens. experience.
Okay.
So now I'm back to 19. That's when I was 19.
Okay.
That's my whole life. Those are the
God
5 or 7 jobs I've had
So
in 47 years.
Did you get that spirit for entrepreneurism then early on, being in that kind of position, you think? Did you always kind of have it in the back of your mind maybe that you wanted to eventually do that?
I think along the way, the Lord blessed me in that I had success everywhere I went.
That's cool.
And so I gained confidence as I went along. Mm-hmm. I was just thankful for a job when I was 19.
Well, sure.
And when someone said, "Hey, you're in the management program," you bet. I don't know if you need me to think about this thing, but I'm ready to go. I can always finish my college degree. It took me 20 years to finish my college degree.
Me too.
Dropped out of college and went and took that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when UPS bought the Mailbox Etc. store franchise and turned it into the UPS store probably 20 years ago.
Right.
And so we had a Mailbox Etc. over in the Kroger, where the current Kroger's is now, about where Great Clips is. Mm-hmm. And before they remodeled all that.
I remember.
All that in.
Right.
So it's a Mailbox Etc. And I had just started at the church and been there a year or so, and had spent almost 20 years in the logistics business. Mm-hmm. So I'm very familiar with supply chain logistics.
Yeah.
And I thought, that may help me with some retirement, because I didn't have any retirement anymore.
Yeah.
Working at church. So
yeah,
I inquired on that, and someone else had already opted in on the franchise.
Right.
Josh
Evans.
So, and I knew Josh.
Yeah.
We went to Ebenezer for a little while, and my daughter and him went to Greenbrier together. So
right.
Not that I knew him or they were.
But you had that
together,
familiarity,
but I knew
connections.
him.
Yeah.
Joshua and I just stayed in contact over the years, and I'd always kind of joked with him, "Hey, if you ever want to sell that thing, let me know." Mm-hmm. Well, he approached me back in 2022 and said, "I think I'm ready to sell it."
Wow.
And so I really wasn't thinking about doing that. I was at the point of, I think I'm going to just try to retire and have a little wood shop in my backyard that, make some furniture for some folks and do some odd jobs and that kind of stuff. But the opportunity presented itself, so I jumped on it. And one thing that I wanted to make sure that we provided and Josh was very forthright about it, was, we needed to, he wasn't involved in the store like I'm involved in the store. And we wanted to provide good customer service. Yeah. And that's all we've done, is just find people that are interested in providing good customer service. It's a thing that you're missing. You talked about Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. It's a thing that's missing in all of our retail, everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's like, and then even trying to find employees to come to work. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, it is. And that's one thing. When you find good people, man, you hang on to them and you treat them well so that you can hang on to them. And it makes such a difference. I love hearing that journey, though, because it's so fascinating to me how we have, because when did you, here's how I find out people's age. What year did you graduate from school?
1977.
From high school?
Yes.
So you're just a little bit, you're the same age as my sister then, because I graduated in 1980.
Right.
And so we're from the same era. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting to hear about people's backgrounds and where it leads them. And one of the reasons why I'm particularly interested is because now you're talking about finding that retirement job. I'm one of those people, the idea of just retiring just didn't appeal to me, because I got to have a schedule, and being able to retire into teaching has been such a blessing for me, and I love it so much. But talking to you and hearing about your path gives me something I can use as an example to my students who are not maybe following that traditional path, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do. And I've had so many conversations that kind of have the same echo of what you just told me. It's like, well, they're working here, maybe they're working for a franchise, and they're having some. Now that the people that they're working for see that they're about to graduate, they're like, would you like to go to our management? Mm-hmm. Do it.
Right.
That doesn't have to be what you're going to do from now on. It may be. It may open doors to where that's where you stay. But look at all the other doors that'll open. And I love that you had your stint in ministry. I did as well. And we're always, if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, we're all in the ministry, y'all. Right. Come on. Some of us just get to do it for
sometimes
a paycheck.
You're getting paid and sometimes you're not. But you're always
exactly. And sometimes you have that paycheck coming for it, and you may never do it, but we're all ministers of the gospel. And so I love hearing those different aspects of how you take that journey, because so many people are like, this is what I have in my mind to do, and this is the path I've got to stay on. No.
Well, for me, I've always told folks and tried to follow myself. Just do the very best you can.
Amen.
If you don't, if it requires more than your best, there's nothing else you can do anyway.
Right.
But the last, I don't know, 3-4 opportunities found me.
Yeah. That's what's happened with me,
I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
It came to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, and of course I try to have a close walk with the Lord, and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we know, we were talking, Tom and I, we were talking at the Aldi store the other day. It just started occurring to me, and I hadn't even really thought to call you guys and say, hey, you want to sponsor? And because I knew y'all were working with Lee Marie, but they're two different shows. And I told her, I said, is that okay? And she was like, absolutely. And so as I was talking to you, I said, so many of us, we look at UPS as the place we drop off our Amazon packages. And you're so much more than that. And I'm not that. That's not been my mindset, because I've had y'all do all kinds of stuff for me. Most recently, I work with Celebrate Recovery, and we needed the name badges. Our name badges were out of date, because at first I put the little year of when we had started on there, and I had made them myself, and they just weren't holding up and all that. And I knew y'all could do something better, so I came in and I said, hey, can y'all help me? And they came up with a solution, and they fixed our name, and they're just awesome. And I just came in with an idea, and they're like, well, we could do this, and it was perfect. And you can do that. You can walk in and say, okay, I know y'all do print. Can you help me with this? And you will come up with a solution for us.
A lot of folks think the print is just copies. Oh yeah, I can get 5 copies. But we're a full service print shop. When I was in training, my son-in-law and I own this, and my daughter too. And when Craig and I was in training, one thing that they mentioned to us was that print was only 1% of the total market share that the UPS store had. And I'm thinking, that's an opportunity to really expand on.
You bet.
So we've inquired on that and have taught that. The learning curve at the UPS store is just unbelievable in all the things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about print, one thing we made last year, a decision, was to bring in a full-time graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
So we hired a degreed graphic designer, Anastasia. She does a terrific job. Sometimes she'll say, okay, Mr. Tom, let me show you this. I said, I don't want to know it. I just want you to do it.
Yeah.
I don't, it's my brain's kind of, I don't know. I got so much useless information in my brain. I don't know I can put anything else in it. But we joke about that some.
That's funny.
But with the print, and then I wanted to I went online and put the UPS store and print shop on our website. Well, we have a great brand. UPS store is a great brand.
Yeah.
5,400 stores, but they're very protective about their brand. Mm-hmm. So the very next day, that was taken off of my website. So they said, no, we can't do that. It always has to say the UPS store. So trying to get that information out, because not all stores are as invested as we are in the print, and there's some stores that's invested even more than we are in print. I mean, our training store was over 6,000 square foot print shop with a little UPS store tied up to it.
Yeah.
It was an old grocery store like Hills that we're right next to, that was a full print shop, and then had a little UPS store on the front of that thing. And so the good thing about us is we've gotten into it. If we're not able to do it in-house, which there's a lot of stuff we can do in-house now, with the investment in the equipment we have, but we have this network that we can send out to, get it done, and get it right back to us. And of course, we start a UPS store. Most people know us as shipping. They bring their packages to us. Well, we can ship to another store, ship right back. A lot of things, you can send artwork digitally through the emails, and then they can overnight stuff right back to us. And UPS gives us a little bit of a discount when we do that, and so it makes it a little more affordable for us. And it's a real good opportunity for us as we've grown. But there's quite a bit of stuff. We've purchased 3 wide format machines, so we can do any kind of banner. Blueprints.
Yeah.
We've upgraded our blueprint printer twice. We're on our, not that we've worn them out, but we've just, we need to
get better and better.
we need to upgrade this.
When we ran our roofing company, we were always needing blueprints, and this has been years ago. We had to source a lot of that out of Nashville because there wasn't a local.
And we're wanting
at
to
the
deliver.
time.
We're
Yeah.
wanting to deliver. I
Yeah.
spent a little bit of
That's
time with the
awesome.
construction company.
Yes.
And project manager would call me up and say, "Hey, listen, can you run down and get me a set of blueprints? I needed this job." And I'm like, I was helping them with their finances. And I'm like, I got stuff I need to do, but we need to do it.
Right.
Finances are nothing if you don't have a paycheck.
You
or
bet.
Deposit going in.
Yeah.
So I thought when we got into doing the printing, the blueprints, we'll deliver to job site. We'll deliver. We've delivered to White House. Craig lives in White House, so we do quite a bit of stuff with the school system out there, and that's just another customer service thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other advantage we have is we're open 7 days a week.
Yeah, and what are that's one thing too. How does it work with the post office boxes? How do people get access to those? Do they have access to those when you're not open?
We have 24-hour access.
How does that work?
They get a little code when you come in. If you look down, there's a little like in a hotel room. Not really a hotel room. You can punch in a code, or you get a little key fob.
Okay.
And you just put over on top of it, and the door will open. It'll unlock, and you can go in. You have your key. We have a gate that comes down, so it kind of protects the rest of the store. From just anybody coming.
I was going to say that's a big trust factor.
We only have we have 200 mailboxes in there, and we probably only have 2 people that use that, maybe 3.
Really?
Most people just come in during regular hours.
Okay, so as far as coming in some odd hour, but I mean, if somebody that I'm always trying to figure out new ways to. I'm a writer. I do a lot of things, and I've got things that I'm wanting to share and market and all that. And one of the hardest things, you need a mail. You need a PO box. You need a post office box a lot of the times, and having access, that easy access right there, is just priceless. And I just didn't realize y'all would have 24-hour access.
Well, the post office does the post office box. That's for the post office, but UPS store, and there's other companies out there that have what's called a PMB or private mailbox.
Oh, that's even better, really.
It's actually a street address.
Oh, okay.
So UPS, FedEx, those can deliver to a private mailbox because it's a street address.
Okay.
But UPS can't deliver to a post office. The biggest problem we have, and we have the addresses if you need it. If you wanted to send your tax return into the IRS, if you ever send anything to IRS, all they give you is a zip code.
Right.
They don't give you an address.
Right.
And so you may get a P.O. box if you get a letter and it says send it back to this P.O. box. Well, we have to have it, but then they want to trust the UPS to deliver it with the tracking information.
Right.
Or they're sending it overnight because they need to get it in there right away. So we have to have a physical address. We actually have those addresses to help folks with that.
Right.
But if you have a private mailbox, like at the UPS store, then you just, at our store, it'd be 513 Memorial Boulevard, which is our address, and it would be number, 1, 2. Well, I don't want to say a number because it may be somebody's number. Let's say it's number 001 because we don't have that. We started at 100 or something, I believe, in that thing. So it'd be number 001 or PMB 001. Those are the 2 requirements that they have on that.
Okay. Well, that's cool. But see, there's just so many things, guys. This is just it.
You can also have your boxes delivered. You can order something from Amazon and have it delivered there without a mailbox. It's $5 charge, but then you don't have to worry about porch pirates.
Yeah, that's the big thing. If you're somebody that, if you live, I can't imagine some of the people that live in town in an urban area trusting that your stuff's. My son down in Huntsville. He had a terrible time. People just stealing stuff off of whenever he was living in this little townhouse. Just thieves. That just anything he ordered was getting stolen.
A lot of people have cell phones delivered to us because of the calls, and then we can also sign for them. So we'll get a call at least once a week. Someone say, "Listen, I need to redirect a package there because They sent me my cell phone.
Yeah.
And they require a signature, and I'm not home.
Yeah.
It requires an adult signature, and I'm not home.
Yeah.
What do I do? Well, there's 2 things you can do. You can either at UPS sign the little slip that they give you that gives them permission to leave that cell phone on your front porch.
Right.
And somebody
may take it.
Right. Or you can go through My Choice at UPS and and redirect that to us.
That's awesome.
But you can, you have to set that up. Well, when you're having that done, you can just give them our address. Say, just deliver it to the UPS store. You don't even need to call us. When it comes in, that label will show us what we need to do. And then we register it. You'll have your phone number on it. And we log it into our system, and they'll call you.
And they'll say, hey, we've got a package for you. That's awesome.
And, of course, you're tracking it, so you see,
it's there.
Usually you're notified by Amazon or UPS or whoever or your phone company, Verizon or whoever your package is being shipped from, that, okay, it was delivered.
Mm-hmm. Well, y'all have a notary there.
We have notaries. Everyone in the store.
Everyone in the store
is a notary. That was another decision we made.
Yeah.
And so we do notary services, and we have our own training program that we go through on that. So I've been a notary for 30 years. So that was one thing I knew when I came there. Oh, okay, here's what this is. And we do shredding services, which is another thing.
Yes.
And one thing you mentioned yesterday, I appreciate you talking about our little, what we call a bounce back. It's our monthly flyer.
Yeah.
That we put everyone's tracking numbers on.
Yeah.
But we don't put expiration dates on our coupons intentionally.
Okay.
So we want to encourage people, hang on to that thing.
Yeah.
Everyone has a junk drawer. Throw it in your junk drawer.
Yeah.
And then when something comes up like shredding, our shredding's $1.59 a pound. You just bring it in. We'll weigh it. We use shredding service, Iron Mountain. We have some locked bins that we put your shredding in. They come pick up about once a week, once every 10 days, depending on whether we're running a special or not. And they take care of that. There's a lot of security. But we run a 50% off coupon.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that's one of our most used coupons.
I bet for sure. I've had to get some stuff together for some school records, and it's just box after box after box after box. That can get,
We had one gentleman that brought in a covered trailer. He had 2,300 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, and he took advantage of that.
He closed his business.
Oh, wow.
And he'd gotten everything done, and he says, I just want to make sure all this is shredded. Yeah. And we gave him even a little bit better discount.
We had that when we closed our roofing company. We had all those documents that we had to deal with. And because you have to, you're still, you can close your business, you're still responsible for that information. Right. And we didn't want any of that to come back on us. It's already 8:00, Tom. Oh. We're out of time, brother.
Well, I knew.
So a couple of things. We need to make sure everybody knows. Too, there's, there was the coupon we talked about yesterday, 20% off. We're going to really kind of double down on this because it's right now the time that kids are getting things printed for graduation.
Invitations.
That postcard thing and invitations.
Weddings,
yes.
Postcards.
That's a really good discount to help. That was something Deborah mentioned to me. She says, we really need to make sure people realize they've got that 20% off that they can come in and get with that coupon to help with that printing right here at graduation time.
And the foam core and Coroplast. Great for big heads. We can do big heads. You've seen some of those,
To celebrate the kiddos. Absolutely.
Send your picture. We can put anything on. We print anything on anything.
I love it.
As long as it's legal.
Yeah. And if you've got something unusual that you need to ship, come in and say, what do I do? How do I ship this? They'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So anything. Not just for your Amazon drop-offs, y'all. Right. Come on. Even though y'all handle that with a smile, and that has to be just...
we get to see a lot of people.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
See a lot of people.
Y'all are just everything, and it's awesome. And I'm just so glad to meet you. Yeah. And thank you for talking to me and Aldi and just and making
the phone call.
Absolutely. Same here. And so thankful for your sponsorship for One Street Over. Thank you. Go and check them out. The UPS store, 4297 Springfield. Get out there and get to know them and all the things that they have. UPS and printing and business and moving supplies. Mailboxes, graphic arts from Sweet Anastasia. She helped me with my stuff. Anything we're missing?
Probably. I can't ever remember it all.
Deborah will be going with you. We'll give the phone number, 615-384-0093. 615-384-0093. Go and see them. Store 4297 at the upsstore.com. I've had to put that in many times where I've emailed you something that I needed printed. Yeah. And so that works out really. Once you've got it in your contacts, it'll just pop up when you put
513 Memorial Boulevard.
There you go.
Right next to almost next to the Hills.
Yes.
grocery store.
Yes. As a matter of fact, when I put the 4297 Springfield, that's the name of the store.
Right.
But the address is 413 Memorial Boulevard. That's right. It's, like I said, right next door to H.G. Hills, but it's also right where Springfield Drugs used to be next door.
Right, next
You know?
door where Springfield Drugs.
Yep.
We don't have a sign on the road, but we got blue awnings on the front of the store. You can't miss
You
it.
cannot miss it. Cannot miss it. Thank you, brother.
You bet.
Nice to see you, and nice to talk with you guys. We will be here for Good Friday tomorrow. Rachel Culver will be here, so the girl's going to be talking to you about the Good Friday. Why do we call it Good Friday? But it's because it was the what it gave us our salvation. Because you think about the anguish that the Lord went through on that Friday. But we'll be talking about all that tomorrow. Hope you'll join us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day.
Stops and I just gotta sing a song, and the music is moving and the rhythm is